Hello everyone, welcome back to Lockdown Lessons, part 7 I think. And I've got with me today Jon Chambers from Generation Media. So firstly, could I just ask you to say hello to everyone, Jon, and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, as Phil said, I'm Jon Chambers and I am the Investment Director for a business called Generation Media.
Fantastic. And what does Generation Media do, Jon?
Sure, so broadly we operate within the advertising industry, but very specifically we are a media planning and buying agency. We work with clients to build advertising campaigns which we believe, based on all of the research we have available, will best reach their target audiences and ultimately fulfill their business objectives.
Fantastic. So what sort of ideal referral would you say that you've got?
So as a business, we work primarily within the entertainment space, toys, video games, movie releases, things such as that, and bringing those to the masses and making people aware of them. But we do have some more niche subjects within there as well. Ultimately, the research we have available can cater for any target audience. We really love working with growing businesses though. So those at the start of their journey and really looking to grow their customer base, their sales, and providing that sort of hand-holding service through the journey that is launching their first advertising campaign and building from there.
Fantastic, thanks very much. So if we could cast our minds back to March the 23rd, we went into lockdown. At what point did you see that this might cause an issue of some description for you internally?
Sure, so we were having forecasts probably as early as January as to problems for us as a business. As I referenced earlier, a lot of our clients work within the toy space. And each year, at January time, there are toy fairs. The largest one in the world is in Nuremberg, Germany, which we flew out to. And one of the halls is dedicated to businesses from China, of which everyone was told was pretty much off limits and don't go in there. A number of businesses hadn't travelled. We heard a number of major European toy businesses hadn't travelled because of the threat of COVID. And whilst we weren't at that point anticipating any sort of lockdown measures, we certainly couldn't have foreseen that. We were conscious of manufacturing difficulties that were being had in China and the knock-on effect that might have for product distribution for Q4 of this year. So we were forecasting there could potentially be a knock-on impact as a result of what was going on in China, but certainly didn't anticipate that it would have such a prevalent effect in mainland Europe and of course the UK.
Yeah, I think very few people would have been able to predict it that well in March, even though we knew there was going to be an issue. We didn't really know what it was going to mean for all of us, and the numbers of different ways it's affected us all of us is incredible as well. So what ways would you say you've had to adapt at Generation Media over the last few months?
I think it's very much adapting either in line with the pace of change or ahead of the pace of change that our clients have been adapting. Many of our clients have been, as most businesses, still overly reliant on traditional retail channels, so bricks and mortar stores, which of course was taken away from them. So as an industry, advertising is forever moving more and more digitally focused. We have spent a long time upskilling ourselves as an agency in terms of personnel and retraining on different elements, but specifically around e-commerce. So we have onboarded new tools that we can now help clients navigate the world of e-commerce, particularly Amazon, and help to build their business on Amazon instead of doing the big expensive awareness campaigns at the top of the funnel on TV or radio or press or out of home, or even again, just broader digital activations. Something's a little bit more cost effective right at that point of sale on an e-commerce site such as Amazon, such as Argos, and helping clients navigate through that journey.
Great. So was that something you were doing before March anyway, and you just increased that activity during lockdown, or was it something you really just started it since lockdown first started?
No, it certainly was something we were working. We have been for the past few years, but the acceleration on it has been absolutely phenomenal. And the demand, which we always thought should be there pre-lockdown, certainly is there now, and it's a product within our range of services that is becoming more and more popular with all of our clients.
Fantastic. So would you say you've had some other wins during lockdown that you maybe hadn't had before at all?
Yes, we've been incredibly fortunate as a business. We've actually landed 20 new clients in 2020. So, and we've retained 100% of the clients that we had within 2019. So we're very proud of that record. And I think it's testament to the amount of work we're still willing to put in for new business in order to help people grow. We understand it's a journey and we're not turning people away because spends might be too low. So of course, they're not all seismic business changing wins for us, but it's certainly something that helps maintain morale across the business, and particularly junior members of the team, to see the pipeline of new business coming in. I think in terms of where we've seen those wins primarily, it's very much, again, digitally based businesses, those which either have their own e-commerce channel or are in control of retail sales online, or again, as I said, we work quite closely targeting families. It's quite a core part of our business. So online education apps and websites you may have seen, or if you have children yourself at home, might have seen the prevalence of these either on TV or digital advertising. So we now work with a number of those businesses who pre-lockdown may not have seen the need to be spending on advertising. There wasn't the opportunity for them.
Sure, and I think even, you know, if we were in a position whereby we came out of lockdown immediately in its entirety, the good news for you is that the hard work that you've put in during lockdown is going to keep going, because I think there's always going to be a demand for online educational tools, whether we're in lockdown or not, right?
Yeah, I think that goes across everything that we've been doing and lots of businesses have been doing. It's been a period of opportunity to reassess, restructure, look at what's been going well, what you have been doing well, what you want to do better. So we've been fortunate we've not had to furlough anyone within the business, and we can put people's talents to best use and identify within our young growing team what areas of expertise we do have and those that we don't, and can we address those within this period, because as we all know, it's an unfortunate time for most industries. There is a lot of talent currently without jobs, and it's trying to identify opportunities for us as a business where we maybe can bring someone in who has lost their job elsewhere from a rival agency or a different sector, but we can take advantage of their skills and they can take advantage of our opportunity to grow their own careers.
Fantastic. I really like the fact you've used the word opportunity twice in the last couple of minutes, actually, because when lockdown first started, people were using the words crisis. Some of them were using the words challenge, and some of them were using the words opportunity, but not many were using the opportunity word. So that's brilliant to hear. And I think maybe the way people have adapted over the last 6 months have, you know, the people that maybe were calling it a crisis or a challenge are now having to adjust their mindset and think of it as an opportunity, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we do a lot of training internally, and we focus a lot on our team, and we do well-being training, resilience training, things such as that. And obviously, a lot of that talks about repackaging challenges, crises as opportunities, and just changing the language. And whilst that very much focuses on the personal side of things and personal reactions to it, it certainly translates into business as well.
Fantastic. So if you could, I've got a good question. So if you could go back in time to March the 23rd, is there anything you would have done sooner?
I think personally, if you ask my wife, she probably would say have a shave sooner. But in terms of business, I think it's a difficult one. I think whilst we are very good as a business at monitoring the well-being of our team and providing for that, I think initially, because of the uncertainty about how long a period of work from home was going to be in place, not necessarily all of the provisions that we now have put in place, such as providing computer equipment at home, providing well-being sessions on a more regular and structured basis, weren't put in place within the immediate few weeks, because of course we were all holding on to that hope that this was only going to be a temporary solution, as opposed to what's now looking like a year-long solution. And as such, we've adjusted quite rapidly since then. But in that initial period, certainly we probably would have liked to have done more. But at the same time, it was an interesting period. I think there was quite a lot of novelty factor around it. So it certainly didn't have a detrimental impact on the business, because people were adjusting to a fresh new challenge for them, and an interesting way of working. Yeah,
it was. I think when we first went into lockdown, I was I was telling my kids that I think, yeah, it's probably going to be about 3 weeks or so. And someone said, no, I think it's going to be nearer 4 weeks. And I laughed at them. And the laugh was on me, really, because it was quite a few weeks more than 4, wasn't it, in the end? So what would you say, John, you've learnt most about yourself over the last sort of 6 or 7 months?
I would say it's been learning about my own personal resilience as an individual. I'd say within a group environment and a group setting and talking with teams, I can certainly act as a resilient cornerstone and someone to bounce off of, but we don't have our teams immediately around us, and they're not always accessible. So being left to your own devices, that self-resilience can be a little bit harder to come by. I'm sure we all have gone into a spiral of self-pity from time to time during this period. But yeah, that's probably been the biggest learning curve for me.
Fantastic. It's always good to reflect from time to time. So what would you say the first thing you did? So when the sort of the first lockdown, if you like, sort of finished, what was the first thing you did?
We actually booked up to go to Peppa Pig World for my 2-year-old daughter. I will caveat that heavily, not our choice, but a fantastic thing to do. I think as a parent with young children, I'm sure many people can empathise. There's almost this feeling of guilt at not being able to do things, or again, even from a selfish point of view, the boredom of maybe going to the same duck pond every day to program the ducks, and that sense of routine, certainly wearing thing for me as a parent, and I'm sure was driving my little one mad. So a treat to do that, certainly.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids have suffered with issues during lockdown. Actually, it's been a really tough time for a lot of children as well as adults, so it's good that you raised that too. So just to go back a step then, so if you want to just let us know a little bit about your ideal customer then. So if your ideal customer knocked on the door right now and wanted to start working with you, what would they look like? What sort of size business would they be? What sort of vertical markets would they be in? And what would the role of the person be within that business, do you think?
Sure. So ideally, we'd love to speak to someone within a marketing department, someone who has an understanding of what they want to achieve with their marketing budgets, have a clear set of objectives, KPIs associated with that, although we can certainly help to define what they might be. In terms of their education about the advertising industry, that really doesn't matter to us. We are adept at training people and helping them understand how advertising can benefit their business and what the different channels will do best for them. Or if they are a very experienced person, have strong ideas about how they want to spend their money, we can certainly facilitate that whilst also trying to educate and have an impact on the strategy ourselves. When it comes to the size of business, I think I said at the beginning, we love businesses that are on the start of their journey, looking to grow. We have one client, for example, within our roster now spending over £5 million per year, but started off spending less than £5,000 a year with us over 15 years ago. So we do like to go on that growth journey. Obviously, that doesn't happen for all businesses.
Sure.
But we recognise that sometimes people are at the start of a journey and we'd be forced to turn that down because things do grow.
Fantastic. So I suppose if anybody sort of fits that mould, or if anybody's looking for help with what you actually offer at Generation Media, John, what's the best way they can contact you?
So initially, there's an email address on our website. So our website is generationmedia.co.uk. I am available on LinkedIn. On there, my email, mobile numbers, I'm not sure if we can share that after this.
We can.
Then absolutely, I'm more than happy to be contacted directly as well.
Fantastic. Well, what I'll do, John, is underneath the link in LinkedIn, I'll certainly share your details. So if anyone wants to get back to John, please feel free to contact him direct. I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear from you and happy to help you. So for now, John, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate listening to your journey through lockdown. And yeah, I'll catch up soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Phil.
Thanks very much, John. Take care. Bye.